Hello and welcome to another episode of Mind Over Chatter. This is your host Krishna Marathe, and today we are going to talk about a really favorite topic for all of us: mistakes. Now, I'm obviously joking here. Mistakes are our least favorite thing to think about. Even if we don't want to think about our past mistakes, there are sometimes people around us who make sure that we are reminded from time to time about all the small and big goof ups that we have ever done. But you know what? There are a certain group of people who never make mistakes. You know who those are? Dead people. If you're alive, you are going to sometimes make a mistake or 20. But that's okay. That's the sign of being alive. That's a sign that you're trying things out. The very interesting thing about mistakes is that no one ever starts out by thinking, oh, this seems like a really bad idea. Let me try this. Let me make a couple of more mistakes in life. No, every mistake starts out as a well thought out decision. And it's only at the end of the decision, when you get your results back from this decision, that you know whether it was a mistake or not. So there's no way to really avoid mistakes in life. But mistakes do have a quality of stopping us in our tracks, paralyzing us temporarily from taking any decisions whatsoever. Because that one mistake has now scarred us. That one person that we trusted, that one person that we misjudged, that one business in which you should not have invested money, that one mutual fund that you should not have put your money in, or some other kinds of mistakes as well. Once those happen, they become a burden on our heads. But is there a way to turn this thing around? Because I'm telling you something, mistakes are inevitable. No matter how careful you are, no matter how calculated you are, no matter what you do, it is impossible to not make mistakes ever. And that's not really the point of life as well. But you know what is a true mistake? A true mistake is when we refuse to forgive ourselves, or when we hold on to our quote unquote mistakes and judge ourselves, call ourselves stupid, and we refuse to forgive ourselves basically and let go. That definitely is a mistake. But that's not an irreversible mistake, thankfully. We can start the process any day that we want. There were a couple of things that I did in life which I have only recently forgiven myself for. I'll tell you what. 2 years back, I decided to leave Bombay and head down south, right into Kerala. That too not in the capital city, but I went to a really small town because at that time I thought that it was a great idea. It was a great idea to settle into a small town. I was already tired of living in the big city. How did it turn out in the end? Well, it was a nightmare because I was not really prepared for what it entails to live in a smaller town. Also, I did not know the native language there. Language was a problem. I was used to a lot of conveniences of the city life, which were absolutely absent in a smaller town. And there were a lot of other cultural things also that I couldn't really get myself to adjust around with. For example, when someone goes on a strike in Bombay, nobody really cares about it. Everybody goes to work anyway. Bombay is literally unstoppable. And I have been a Bombay native all my life. But down south in Kerala, it's very different. It's a bit of a communist regime. And so, when the unions call for a strike, it means strike. Everything shuts down. There are no vehicles on the road. Strike means strike in Kerala. I was not prepared for that, and I'm a professional. I travel a lot, and that was extremely inconvenient. And so I decided that I would move within 7 months from Kerala, still somewhere in the south, because I wanted to experiment with living outside Bombay. And so I shifted to Bangalore. So my work still brought me back into Bombay, and then I kept getting busier and busier, and then I kept taking flights from Bombay to Mumbai and back and forth, and it was a nightmare. I lost a lot of money just making this lifestyle work. I lost a lot of energy. I was unnecessarily making my own life way too complicated. I should have never left Bombay at all. But that's because when I was in Bombay, I was not able to look at anything that Bombay had to offer. Everything looked miserable. The traffic, the potholes, the indiscipline. To get from one point in Bombay to the other takes at least 30 minutes, even if it's like the shortest distance. And I became really frustrated and I thought that life somewhere else would be much better than in Bombay. But it turned out to be a huge mistake. I think it is one of the biggest mistakes I have made in my life, leaving Bombay. It is also one of the most expensive experiments that I've ever undertaken. I honestly reduced my earning power. Whatever I had saved was split in half, because just to fund this lifestyle of, being on flights and staying in hotels and traveling back and forth just to live peacefully outside the city, it was a huge mistake, because it completely was beating the whole purpose of having a simpler life. I made my own life more complicated than when I was in Bombay. So that was a huge mistake, and I think for the last 2 years or so, I kept regretting, oh, why did I move and why did I do this? Oh, I am so stupid. I shouldn't have done this. It doesn't make any economical sense. It doesn't make any practical sense. How could I? I mean, I thought of myself at least as a reasonably smart human being, and look at me. What a stupid decision. Yeah, fine. I've learned a lesson in life, and yeah, there are things to learn from your mistakes, but at what cost? Now, these were the things that were running in my mind. It's only very, very recently, as recent as I think 2 weeks back, that I have actually begun to forgive myself for this decision that I took, and it turned out to be a mistake. I have only now begun to see some value in it. And then there are some other kinds of mistakes as well: financial mistakes, relationship mistakes. We decide to trust one person and completely go for it, and it doesn't turn out to be compatible. The relationship does not turn out to be the forever dream that we had imagined it to be. Mistake. But how are we going to scrape through life if we are going to be scared of making a mistake? Because then we need to put some kind of process in place to safeguard our own mind and think, okay, I'm going to take this decision, but even if it turns out to be the worst decision that I've taken in my life, or it turns out to be the most stupid thing that I have decided to do, I will still not be so unkind to myself that I will be unable to do anything further in life, or I will not paralyze myself to such a degree where I'm afraid to take the smallest of decisions, because now I don't trust myself, because I think I'm stupid because of this mistake that I made in my recent past. So I'll not trust myself anymore. That's not the way to go. Unfortunately, I made that same folly with my own self, but that's why I'm telling you, it's really not worth it. It's really not worth beating yourself up over your own mistake. And the truth is that there is not one single human being on this planet who has not taken a bad decision. No matter how smart they look, no matter how intelligent they are, no matter how successful they appear in public, every single human being, all the heroes that you admire, have made mistakes. They have not reached here completely unscathed by life. They have not only taken all good decisions. All it takes to turn our lives around is one great decision. But till we reach that one great decision, what do we do? And what is the way to find out if it turns out to be a great decision or not? Is to make a whole lot of decisions. Now, I am not suggesting that one becomes completely reckless with life. That's not what I'm suggesting. But instinct is something that starts appearing brighter and brighter in our minds. It starts becoming clearer and clearer with the decisions that we take without fear. So the first step towards overcoming the ill effects of beating yourself up after you've made a mistake is forgiveness. Forgiveness is very easy to give another human being, your friend, your partner, your children, your parents. It's very easy to forgive them. The most difficult person to forgive in your own life is you yourself. So, how do we start the process of forgiving our own selves? Personally, I have found that I feel some sort of safety in numbers. If I know that I am not the only idiot in town who has made mistakes, who has made financial mistakes, who has made relationship mistakes, who has made whatever business mistakes, if I know that I am not the only one and that a lot of people lose money, a lot of people lose people, a lot of people lose time, precious youth, a lot of people lose their health because of bad decisions. If I know that I am not the only one and that a lot of seemingly smart people around me have also made mistakes of their own kind, I feel a little better. I feel that that is a softer step towards forgiveness. Because what is the other option? To think that you are the only one who is going on making mistakes or who has made these colossal mistakes and everyone else is only taking the right decisions. Then what does the mind think? Oh, there is something definitely wrong with me. Also, with mistakes that one makes financially or mistakes that one makes in one's career also leads one to think that since I have missed my window of becoming successful in my 20s or in my 30s, now I am doomed to a life of mediocrity and repetitiveness and monotony. But that's not true at all. Just go on to Google and search the term late bloomers, and you will be surprised how many results come. There are business enterprises that have been established by people in their 50s. People have become authors in their late 40s. And I'm not talking about just any kind of author, I'm talking about big names like J.K. Rowling, for example. So the only one really judging yourself is you. There is no societal timetable that you need to follow or adhere to for success. It's your own. So what if you lost some time? So what if you were stuck in a dead-end job before? So what if you did not muster the courage before to start that business that you always wanted to? So what if you didn't start learning that instrument that you wanted to? It's all you. I know that it's very difficult to believe because we have these concepts about responsibilities, luck. If you think about it, luck is such an inhumane concept. It's so weird to think that if you get something right, that means you're lucky. And what does it make other people? Unlucky. Really. It's inhumane. And it's disempowering as well. It doesn't serve anyone. But it's a topic for another day. Today, I want to end by saying that everyone on this planet makes mistakes. What you can do differently for yourself after having made a mistake is to forgive yourself and to remember that everyone does it and that mistakes are a sign that you are alive. It is impossible to only take good decisions. What you make of the mistake is what will differentiate the winners from the whiners. Learn to forgive yourself at some point. It's alright to wallow in your guilt or it's alright to wallow in sadness for some time. But then pick yourselves up and then move on to another decision. Make lots of mistakes. That's all from me this time. Please let me know what you think. Write to me at followkrishnamarathe@gmail.com. You can follow Mind Over Chatter page on Instagram as well at the handle Mind Over Chatter by Krishna. And please let me know what you think of this episode. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much and adios.